Okay, I think we're on.
Like we are recording.
We are recording, and welcome to Musing. And my name is Maris, and it's kind of amusing. This is like take three, not take three. This is going to be episode three. The first two were just audio, and I'm going to be honest, I just didn't really like just audio. Sometimes I want to know who's talking, what do they look like? It's kind of
Still put a face with a name or a
or
face with a
a
voice.
face for the voice. I'm sitting there thinking, I used to one of my first podcasts that that I ever listened to was one called Serial, and it's not the cereal that you eat, but cereal, Serial. And they would always tell like these kind of true crime stories, and it was really, 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 really interesting. And I would sit there the entire time, and I'd wonder, what does this chick look like? You
I'm
know,
always like Googling, like, who is this person?
okay, so I have a question. Are you the kind of person, Charlotte? This is my guest, Charlotte. You've heard her voice before last week, the last episode, but now you get to see her face. Are you the kind of person that when you're watching a TV show or a movie,
Mhm.
that you have to stop and Google things about the TV show, character, or movie that you're watching?
It depends on what it is. Sometimes, yes. And especially if it's an animated movie or something like that. Like, that voice sounds very familiar. Who are you? Let me find out. I
Um,
guess now it's on my phone and not an actual
Yeah,
laptop.
now we're doing this type thing. And I'm like, now I wonder why. Now I know why my left hand is hurting. Right? Ah, you know, my daughter, like maybe 5 years ago, came. No, I was a little more than that. Came to me and said something along the lines of, "I believe that I'm autistic." And I looked at her and I was like, "I'm your mother. I would know if you were autistic or not." And I was like, "You're not autistic. You're just Sarah." And we've never discussed it ever again. And then I started reading on, you read all these things about neurodivergent,
Yes,
and I'm
yes.
like, oh my God. My daughter is neurodivergent. I'm neurodivergent. My son's, and I'm like, how did we, like, are we the norm?
I think everybody's got something these days.
Everybody's, I think, you're right. I believe everybody has a degree
Yeah.
of neurodivergence, but it was like they were talking about the need to Google things while
Yes.
you're watching a show. Me. I'm like, who is that guy? I know that guy, but who is that guy? I want to know, what other movies was he in? And
Yeah.
I'm like Googling everything up.
Yeah, let me watch all of his backlist.
And it's like I've seen every Keanu Reeves movie, you know, some obscure thing from 19,
Right.
and you're like, really? He was really in that? Yes, he was. Yeah. My sister was the one, my older sister, she was the one that would always like watched all the Keanu Reeves movies. But it was like the more I start reading about it, the more I realize that we all have degrees of neurodivergence, uh, depending on how we choose to express it out
Yeah.
and what we choose to do with it. It's kind of like we can all say that we have some anger, we have anger, and anger can be really crummy, and then anger can be inspiring and make us move into a different direction. And I think going back, and it was really probably the thought of ADHD or on my one of my kids being on the spectrum, and it was actually the issue with Michael. I hope he's not mad at me for blasting that. Shoot. I just remembered. Oh yeah, we're just directly posting this afterwards, so there'll be no delete, no
No panic.
on that word, but it was, because they were telling me, that they thought he was ADD or ADHD, and that was what took me to the naturopath that had the herbs and the
Yeah.
oils and the batch remedies and the Reiki and all of this, and that was my intro
Yeah.
into this,
Mhm.
and I remember. the oils, being having a couple of the oils and then the batch remedies, and this is back what in the early 1990s. So I'm like, good golly, we've had this need or we've had this use that, and how often did that was on like that's so hippie-ish. Just my doctor gave me a prescription and said I cannot mix lavender oil with that.
Yep.
And I'm like, what? I don't know anything about that, but okay. So, quirky stories. So, Charlotte, tell us a little bit about what you do in your free time with the oil. Because, I mean, you're so busy doing 1,000 other things. So, I'm like, oh, the oils are like kind of like your hobby,
Right.
They're more than a hobby.
Well, they're just a lifestyle. Oils are a lifestyle, and that's the thing that I've talked about with other people. It's that because I've done them for so long, it's just an everyday thing. It's just like brushing your teeth. Like I've gotten to the point where now it's just like I put on my
Yeah.
oils.
I'm like, brush your teeth with thyme oil.
Listen, orange oil will actually whiten your teeth.
I knew that lemon oil would, but orange, which one do you think is better, orange or lemon?
I haven't ever tried lemon, but
Okay.
maybe it's just citrus oils in general.
Okay. All right.
Which is
So,
what's funny is like this was something I was thinking about earlier because I like grapefruit oil. And by the way, I use Young Living oils, and there are two different types. So one will be a vitality, and one is a regular. Okay, one's a white label and one's not. There's not a difference between the oils. You just have to label them differently. So anyway, just saying. But so if I just say grapefruit oil, I'm really meaning if I'm ingesting it, grapefruit vitality.
grapefruit vitality. So, the
Because
white label on the Young Living is what they label as you can ingest
ingest.
by mouth, and then everything else is essentially
Yes.
diffused,
Diffuse or
topical.
topical. But
Uh,
but it's the same oil, so don't worry about
yeah,
that.
it's the way that it has to be
Yes.
marketed.
But so I hate grapefruit. Like the actual fruit itself.
Uh-huh.
I can't eat it. It's so gross. My mom and grandma, they would always just have these grapefruit spoons and they would eat them all. And I was like, no, that's disgusting. I can't do it. But I love grapefruit oil. It's
As in,
different. It's so weird. Yeah, I just put it in my water and I drink it. It's really good.
well, because I'm over here and I was like, well, it's actually a really good, pretty good juice. You can add it to a lot of things. And I was like, but to eat the fruit itself, I think it's weird. It's like a sour, bitter yuck.
It
And I don't think there's enough sugar or honey or agave or anything.
whatever.
And I'm like, and I don't believe in stevia. So I'm like, I wouldn't,
Same
and
thing.
I'm like, I don't think there's anything sweet enough for that. Maybe not even more. Gosh, no. No, and I'm over here going, this stuff just tastes
Yeah,
gross.
no.
Like by the little quarters or whatever.
No, that's what my mom and grandma would do. They'd put sugar on it. My dad though will just eat straight. Just I'm just like, I don't know.
But
Who hurt you? But
very good. Well, but he also came back from that time. It's like our parents
yes.
came from that era where, and he's always been a ranch, lived on farms, ranches, hadn't he? So that the way that they eat is very different. It's like cakes are homemade; they're not Little Debbie or
Yes.
Hostess. And so it's like when you eat a Little Debbie or Hostess, you're like, oh. And I'm like, I remember I used to was in love with Swiss cake rolls.
Yeah.
And now that, it's like we live that farmer life. It's like, what is that hideous stuff in there? How can I make marshmallow fluff with Young Living oil? Because I mean, there's a lot of things that you can cook with,
Yes.
that you can or add in to like your smoothies or whatever. And I'm over here going, girl, you know what I'm gonna make? I'm gonna make a spaghetti sauce smoothie with oregano oil.
Now listen, if you're gonna cook with oregano oil, like I don't know if you've done it, don't do a full drop. Like get a toothpick and
It's
so
getting a toothpick.
I don't have a toothpick, but there's a bottle of
Oh,
oil.
Right.
So you grab a toothpick and there's a little,
Watch this.
you grab a toothpick and there's a little plastic thing right here. On the inside of that, you're going to put your toothpick in there, swirl it around, and then swirl that into your sauce. And then you can do that a couple of times. But if you put a full drop of oregano oil into your sauce, it will be so overpowering. You're not going to like it.
Unless you really like oregano.
Unless you really like it.
But I was like, I love oregano. I use oregano oil on my skin. And people look at me like I'm insane. Doesn't that burn?
Yes.
Yes,
But is it
it
worth
burns.
it? Yes.
Yes. Now, I have like these crazy brown spots, and I had a mole. This is my quirky story. And I had a mole that showed up on my face. So I was actually doing it for the brown spots, and I started dipping it on the mole. And my husband will tell you she was doing it like 18 times a day. I've seen stuff in that book that Dr. Mine said you do it 18 times a day. I don't know if I was doing it 18 times a day, but he'll tell you I was. And I'm putting it on, and then it was like the third day. I'm like something on my face was itchy, so I go like this, and that mole went flying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I wasn't any place where other people were there because it would have been just so embarrassing. And then I get up and I go look in the mirror and I'm like, it's pristine.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, so skin tags, funny looking mole things, those little things we get between the girls. Oh, and that does burn when you put it there, just
Yeah.
FYI.
There's no air.
No, there is no air.
There's no air. So if you can't get air, then it just makes it hotter.
Hotter, but I tell you what, everything that was on there fell off.
It's gone.
And I had pristine skin underneath it. But the first couple of times I did the oregano oil, like on brown spots, I had really super, 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 um, uh, what's the word I want? Super results. That's
Oh, okay.
super, super
Like rock
results. I'm like, I don't know. It was like the brown spots lifted off. One of them like came up like a scab and
Yes.
had the pretty skin underneath it. But lately, when I'm doing it, and I don't know if it's because I'm not every day doing it, I'm not having the same results, so I'm a little frustrated.
Yeah. Well, and also your skin, your body will get used to things. So if you want to take like a few week break, or 2 or 3 weeks, stop doing it, and then come back, and if your body won't be quite as used to that, so it might you'll have better results.
Right. Well, I like took a couple month break off.
Okay, well then never mind.
But my skin still, I think, is so used to it now that it's like, oh, there's oregano.
It's fine. You don't want the burns.
Yeah, it doesn't burn. Well, you think about, what is it, niacin and the flushing niacin. People would take the niacin and they'd flush really red and it would like burn and itch and they were miserable for 10 minutes and then it would go away. And they'd go, oh, I'm allergic to that. And I'm like, you're not allergic to it. Yes, I'm allergic to it. No, no, no. Your liver is so ding dang dirty
Yeah.
that it burns because it's bringing blood up to the surface and blood through there and it's pushing that all through there. I'm so sorry that you're having issues, but it's a dirty liver. Just take that niacin, And when it stops flushing, your liver is clean.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really pretty interesting because not everybody agrees with me on that. And I'm like, have you ever played with it? Because we play with a lot of stuff. That's what I like about essential oils, is that you can kind of play until you get that blend that you like if you're using singles. Or with Young Living, I'm going to say Young Living has an oil for just about everything.
Yep.
Like,
100%.
I can't think of anything it didn't have an oil for. And that's what I've been on this book that I'm borrowing from Charlotte. We had talked about it on our audio cast. It's Essential Oils Dusk Reference, but this is the second edition. So it has all of the pre-FDA indications in it.
Compliance.
Yeah, pre-compliance. So there's and that's why I'm like, I'm in here and I'm like looking at things. What is it, or what kind of oils can I use for even random off the wall things? So,
There's random off the you can do you find something for head.
well, and it's cypress is a crazy mad oil. Not only does it smell really great, make me feel like I'm back in New Orleans, or in Louisiana. I'm not from there, but my heart's from there. Um, uh, and Cypress has 1,001 different uses. And one of the weirdest uses, in my opinion, is when you take a drop two on your fingertips and you go up the back of the legs to pull your bladder up.
Okay.
Yes, so for women
Yeah.
that experience incontinence, whether it's stress or urge,
Yeah.
or have frequent restroom need to go to the bathroom
Right.
at night,
Yeah.
you take the cypress oil and you start like back at the, I guess at the
Right, your Achilles
at the Achilles tendon, and you just go up the leg on both legs, and uh, I don't know if it's energetically. I don't have an X-ray, so I can't like watch it while it happens.
Right.
But women will say, I didn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I haven't peed my pants when I laugh, or
Right.
or I bent down and had to pick up the grandbaby. First time I didn't tinkle on myself. Ooh. And the women that have had hysterectomies, the bladders will naturally fall and start having leakage problems. And then what do? They do, not radical surgery, they do surgery to pull the bladder up.
Yeah.
I knew a woman that was, in fact, we both delivered our kids. I delivered my daughter on the 6th, and she delivered her daughter on the 7th. And then we ended up having hysterectomies about the same time, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
And they did a bladder suspension on her, and they ended up pulling it up so much that she could not urinate and spent the rest of her life having to use a catheter. So I'm like, surgeries always aren't perfect, and
Right.
sometimes that they can cause a lot of issue. And I'm like, is there an oil for that? No, ruptured appendix. I don't know about this. There's an oil to buy you 5 minutes a time, and that's about it. But something like that, yeah. But even cardiac things, etc. There's so much.
There's so much for everything. Well, and like for Cyprus, I use that whenever I fly because I will put it on my legs to help with the circulation
With the circulate, yeah.
because it's a really good circulation. So that's why I thought you were going with because that's where I put it on my
Oh,
legs.
well, the circulation. I had a lady that came in for a raindrop, and she had done something where she like had jammed her finger, and her wedding ring was on her finger, and her hand was swelling. And I'm like doing her feet of the raindrop, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, Cookie, oh my gosh, um, like you're gonna have to go get that ring cut off.
Yeah.
So, and she's like, oh yeah, I jammed it. I'm like, your hand is your finger is swelling. You're gonna have to go to the ER and get this cut off. And I just went and I put cypress oil like all on her finger, and I forgot all about it. I did. I forgot all about it. She goes home and ends up texting me and tells me, "Oh, my wedding ring fell off my finger. You got all of that swelling out."
You fixed it.
I did something and my ring came off, and I'm like, "Well, I'm just kind of glad we didn't have to cut it off." So I would be like, that would just bite. I'm like, that would be terrible to have to cut off the ring. So, what is one of your weirdest oil stories?
Okay.
Because I know one that's from big.
Of mine. Which one?
Celery.
That's what I was about to
Okay.
say.
I love this one.
Okay.
I mean, and not because. Oh, okay.
Okay. So celery seed oil is one that I cook with a lot. Like I will put it on whenever you're cooking with celery seed oil, don't put it directly into the on the chicken because you're gonna have one spot on the chicken that's really bad. So if you put it on an onion, it'll get through the water and it tastes amazing. However, celery seed oil is also really good for digestion. And I am a big in the belly button oil. Like put your oil in your belly button and then you lay flat on your back for about 30 minutes and that will get into your system because your belly button is your original life source. Now, don't go over 3 drops ever. Because I went over 3 drops of celery seed oil whenever I had really bad, like, I could not go to the bathroom, like, not at all. And I just felt terrible. And so I was like, we're going to do celery seed oil today. That's what we're going to do. And I put it in my belly button and I lay down and I had to run. And I almost did not make it to the bathroom in time. And I had explosions in the bathroom because I was clean after that.
So
Clean out.
all right. So if you think about if you got an any belly button,
Yeah.
did you fill up your entire any belly button?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably about 8 drops.
I don't know. I think it was probably 5.
Five. Okay, five
But
between
still,
5 and 8.
yeah.
Yeah, that's still
Don't
four.
go over 3. Three's too much.
Well, a couple of months ago, because it was here, it was living in my new house.
Right.
I was having the stomach issues, and I grabbed that celery salt oil, and within 45 minutes, but I don't think I did any 5 drops or 8 drops. I probably did maybe a couple.
Yeah, because I told you not to go over 3.
Is that what you did? You told me not to.
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes I'll go, well, if 3's great, 6 will be better.
Yeah, no,
You know,
not.
when you're really desperate for relief.
If you're desperate, sure, but stick real close to a bathroom. And definitely don't try it whenever you're about to be on a road trip because that also is a bad idea.
So, because I'm wondering if you would have like the next day effect where it still lingers around.
I know for a fact that it happened for like I had to go to the bathroom often for about 8 hours.
Okay, so yeah, it would be like at least 24 to 36 hours, not away from the house.
Yeah. Make it to where you're definitely at home.
Okay, all right, so celery seeds.
Celery seed, yeah, celery seed.
I haven't cooked with it, but I have used it for the remedy that she's discussing, and I did follow her instruction, and I don't believe I used more than 3. Because I did not I experienced results, but
Yes,
not
but not
that
explosions.
not explosions.
Yeah, so another one of my favorite ones is fennel. Fennel oil is whenever a woman's breastfeeding, fennel is like my sister called it her gas pump oil because
Okay.
she would put it on her chest and her milk, she would have awesome milk. My nephew, she used it with my nephew. He's an oily baby, like, and so she used it with him all the time. And she's like, it's awesome because it just filled her up so much. And fennel also is really good for digestion. Okay. So I used it because I like the smell of fennel. Do you like the smell of fennel?
Fennel is an acquired aroma.
It very much is. I like it, but I also like black licorice, and that's what I think that it smells like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It does smell like black
Yeah.
licorice.
So but I like the smell of black licorice. I like black licorice. But so I use it and I just put it on my stomach, and then that's what I would do. Put it on my stomach and I just wipe the rest on my chest. Let me tell you, if you were not breastfeeding, it will also make your boobs grow.
Like,
Yes, it was terrible. Like I had to stop swiping it up on my chest. Like if I used it for digestion, I had to keep it on just my stomach, and then I had to wipe the rest on because I don't waste oil. I always wipe it somewhere,
Mhm.
but like I had to wipe my hands on like a cloth instead of wiping the rest of my chest because I like the smell of it. So that's where I could smell it all the time. But no, if you use it very consistently, which I did, that was one of mine in my everyday oil that I put on. So yeah, it's very you're gonna grow. I didn't need to, but I did.
Okay, so,
Yes.
because like in naturopathy, women like myself that are 60 and above, gravity is going to pull down what Mother Nature intended to
Yes.
be perky.
Yeah.
And using castor oil on your breast helps to re-perk them.
Yes.
So I'm over here, Arcelus flat chested, or we want to be a little more bodacious
Yes.
and perky. I'm like, we need to create a fennel and castor oil blend for the breast.
Well, you can also like put in like myrrh would be really good, or hyssop, or any of those would be good because they're also affirming. They affirm your skin.
Yeah,
I mean, you could also put hyaluronic in there too, but
that's so expensive.
hyaluronic is so expensive. I was reading something and it was just like, you can diffuse it. And I'm like, who in their right mind is diffusing hyaluronic? Like, unless you got lots of money, like that's a
It
like
is
I
a very
love Hylocrisim. Hylocrisim is one that I will always keep an extra bottle of, but I will never sell my extra bottle because I don't want to ever run out of that because Hylocrisim is your liquid stitches. Okay. So it's got a ton of benefits, but since this is odd and quirky, one time I was slicing tomatoes and apparently I got the wrong size knife. And so I sliced my finger right here. Like it just, you can't see it, but she can.
no. I see that scar.
But you can only see it if I spread my hand up apart. But it was a very, very deep. But I put pilot crystal on there and within a couple of days it had healed up so much that I could use it perfectly fine.
Okay, so let me ask you. So, because I'm dangerous when it comes to application on myself, not on other people,
Right.
but I'm like, oh, I'll be all right.
Yes.
You did it to the open wound,
Yes.
like it was open?
Hmm.
Because a lot of people would be just like, I can't believe she's doing that. And I'm like,
Right.
really,
Yeah.
it's
If you're
probably cleaner
yes.
than that. What is that? The antibiotic
Yeah.
ointment that you have in the
Neosporin.
square tube or the
Yeah.
little tube that you squeeze. God knows, let you set
Yeah.
it down on the counter. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I was like, actually, I think that the helichrysum oil coming out of the bottle would be a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't touch the bottle to my skin, but I hold it over there and I just drop it. So because that could contaminate it if you like you just dropped it like you were just pushing the bottle straight onto your room. That could probably get something on there, but so I just hold it over there and I just drop it straight onto mine. But it was the same thing with I got into a wreck and that's what I used here. I used purification to clean it and then I put hydrogen over it.
See, it's just to me, because I'm like, I remember not using oils, and I would have a ton of other little, medicinals, and there were some things that were homeopathic, and then when I switched over and started using the oils, to me, it's just so much easier to work with, and it was, yeah, there are some that are expensive,
Yes.
but Rose, like some, what's the other one?
Rose, feel like for some Melissa is very expensive. Like jasmine or only like those. But rose is very expensive. Um, but I have rose, which is another one of my weird stories. But it takes 22 to 26 pounds, I think, of rose petals to make one small bottle of oil. I have the big bottle here. Slime. But so just one small bottle of oil. That's what it. I think I've got a little bottle of peppers.
And I'm like, I can get up and go get a little bottle. Here, let me get a little bottle.
But that's what rose is. Rose comes in a small 5 milliliter bottle. So this is a 15. So it's a big one, but it takes 26 pounds, 22 to 26. I can't remember. I probably should have looked at that before. But of rose petals to make one bottle of oil.
A 15 mil or a
No,
5 mil?
it takes a
So
5 mil.
that's the
So
5 mil.
this is a 5 mil versus a 15. Okay.
And 5 mils is not that big.
It's really not, but you don't use much rose. Like it is so strong. Rose is so, so strong that it will raise your frequency. Like if I am super chaotic, like my brain's going all over the map, Stephanie, every once in a while, my friend Stephanie, she'll send me a text message and I tell her like I can't. It's like I can't function. She's like, just use a drop of rose and you just put it on the tip top of your head and it will raise your frequency and you'll be able to calm down and focus and move on. But it's very, very strong. So I've had rose for probably 2 years and I think I've used maybe 6 drops because it's just so expensive. But also, my fun story for rose is when it gets cold, it disappears.
I love
It
this.
disappears, and which I should have brought it, but because you could have seen it, they could have, but we could have made it really cold. But it'll like whenever you have a bottle of oil and you shake it, you can see it moving in there. Rose just it almost looks like weird cotton on the side of a bottle. So it's almost like it has gotten old and cobwebby, but really it just oddly disappears. So you have to warm it up. So whenever like I keep my room very cold. My room at my house is very cold. And so whenever I use it, inevitably it always will disappear. And you can't get it out when it's
When it's disappeared.
when it's not there. So you have to warm it up. So either you put it in your pocket, I just put it in my bra and it's fine. And it so it'll warm up in a couple minutes and then you can just get your drop out and you're good to go.
That is so strange.
It's so fun.
Because I'm like, what is it about it that it does that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's so fun. It will also scare you half to death whenever you realize that you've spent a couple of $100s on a bottle of oil, and it's gone. It's not gone. It disappeared for a hot second. You just got to warm it up.
I'm still back on. It takes 26 pounds
Yes,
of rose petals to
make
one.
one bottle of oil.
Like, do you realize how many roses that is?
So many roses. So many roses. I don't even like roses.
I love roses, so I'm over here going, oh, I could do that, but
Oh, but and it's so different too. Whenever you think about it, if you're walking through like a nursery or whatever, somewhere who has a lot of roses, and you've got that natural, you smell the roses. Bottles, rose essential oil smells so much stronger. Like
oh, yeah.
it's night and day difference. Like
So, in my opinion, like one drop could fill the whole nursery.
yeah,
It is so strong.
so strong.
So what are the oils that have rose? What are the blends that have rose in it? That joy.
Right. I don't know. Let's see if we can find this out.
Let's just see what as it's kind of like because people would add, and I'd say just get a bottle of joy.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because there's so many different ones that you can have you can use on. But I put rose in like I have a skin form that I put on there. Okay, so it's in awaken, Egyptian gold, envision, forgiveness. Forgiveness is a really good.
Oh, that's the bottle I brought over here with forgiveness. So hey,
Um, gathering, gentle baby, harmony, highest potential. So all the good ones. Humility, uh, Sarah, which Sarah is your, I call it the abuse oil because it's really good for all the emotions. Like if you've been through abuse, because I use it all the time. Um, so Sarah's your good abuse oil, and then Trauma Life and White Angelica, which I use all of those.
I was like, and I use several of those. I use in session with my clients, and I was like, and my experience with Sarah was when people have been SA
Yes.
have had experienced that, where they have experienced ritual magic abuse. That Sarah was phenomenal in working with them, either doing Reiki or sound therapy balancing in order for them to release a lot of that bondage in a what I would call a safe and soft
Yes.
way. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I released that. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I feel so much better now, as opposed to having some kind of really traumatic breakthrough or psychotic break and
Yes.
and you're crying for weeks.
Yeah.
I found that when I was using especially the Sarah, oh my gosh, it cut to the chase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it, was helped my clients or helped the people that were using that kind of get through that much more efficiently.
Yes. Yeah. And that is so true. Because I use Sarah was also like whenever because I took care of my aunt and my mom and my grandma whenever they were in their last years. Um, and I used Sarah, I used Trauma Life, um, White Angelica, and Release. Those were all over. I used them constantly. And I feel like that helped a lot with dealing with all the emotions that comes with taking care of somebody in your last years.
Because that is a lot of grief.
Yeah.
That, and some people may not recognize or understand what I'm saying, but it's kind of like when you're a caretaker and uh, you take care, you're caring for these folks and they pass on. When they pass on, when they transition, a part of you and your energy transitions with them. Because when you're that caretaker and you're a 24/7 caretaker, your identity becomes a part of their identity. And I think that was the hardest
Yeah.
part of that. And that, it's kind of like, where do I fill up?
Right.
When do I come back? Can I even come back?
And when you do come back, you're not the same. Like you're completely different. You're a different person.
And like, Charlotte, you've changed.
Like, really, I wonder why.
And I wonder why. Thank you. I believe I have changed. Because I've grown as a person, or all these experiences make us different people through there. All right, stinkiest oil,
Oh, stinkiest oil, digests.
valerian root.
Oh, you know what? Listen, I don't use that one because it stinks so much. So then you've got valerian, but you also have, I think it's called rue, RUE,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same thing, but it smells. But to me, that one I put with like
Valerian and rue are the same.
but they just
Are they both? They just both stink.
they both just smell.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're People say that valerian is really great. Like my cousin, she uses valerian to sleep a lot. Like she'll use it on her feet to go to sleep. And I'm just like, yes, just keep it on your feet though. Put it on your feet, put some socks on, and then I don't smell it.
Oh yeah, yeah. But remember that old adage though? I don't know if when I was playing with, I started working in oils, and it was the Zydo
Yes.
that got me there. So I am like doing the Zydo, and the Zydo has me positive, I guess, or in need of
Yes.
ylang or lang lang, whatever way you want to say it, and jasmine and something else. And I'm like, I despise all three of those oils. I was just like, the probability of me getting those oils today is like very, 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 very small. They all stink and I don't like it. And then she leans over and she says, oils that you find to be repulsive are the oils that you really need to be working with.
100%.
And so I'm like, so does this mean that we need to be working with valerian?
No, no, that's not what that means. Because some of them would just smell terribly. But okay, so with Digest was always my first one. Like the first one that smells awful. That I feel the more that you used it, because Digest is really good for your digestion.
Hmm.
But the more that you use it, the less it smells bad. It doesn't smell bad anymore.
I want to say
So
it's
maybe you should use it. See what happens. Just use it all the time and see if it smells better.
well
I don't think it will.
because I like digest. I'm like I like digest. It
Right.
smells to me like a regurgitation of ginger and fennel and peppermint and something else.
All the things.
But I like it. It was like very effective.
Right.
Through there. So I'm kind of like, the valerian root. I think it's just
I think it just stinks.
stinks. Valerian root. I used to make a blend thing that I would call stinky feet.
Yeah.
That was for sleep. And my client brings back the bottle and she says, my man will not allow me to. She's making me look up what ylang it's all about.
Yes.
And she goes, my man won't let me wear this to bed. And I'm like, well, I can't help but sleep.
Right. All right. So
All right, so she's make.
I call it ylang ylang. Well, whatever. You can call it whatever you want.
Well, there was one of those guys that teaches about flower essences and essential oils, and he called it ylang ylang. So I'm like, is it lang lang, ylang ylang, ylang a lang, a lang a moo? I don't
It's
know.
whatever you want to call it. But all right. So your three emotions for that one is drained,
Okay.
possessiveness, and fear of wisdom.
Well, that's very interesting.
Very good.
Fear of wisdom,
Yeah.
drained.
And possessiveness.
Okay, so what? So tell me about the possessiveness. Like I'm possessive of.
It could be like that you are possessive of something and you need to release it. Or it could be the other way around, that you need to be possessive of something and you don't want to be.
Because I'm looking at that would probably be part of it, but I was like drained. Because back then, I think I was working two jobs.
Yes.
I was teaching over at the college, and then started here.
Yes.
So that was probably the
Yeah.
drained.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with this book. This is a book that we talked about last week. So it's releasing emotional patterns with essential oils. And if there are multiple ones, so like yelling has three different emotions, you pick which one that you know it's talking about for you. Like because there are three and some of them can be vastly different. And you're thinking, oh, well, I don't feel this way, but you feel another way, it's this way. Like it's the way that you think that you probably are, and
Yeah.
that's the one that you should work with.
You're like, dang it. And I'm like, oh. What's your favorite oil? Valor?
Valor is one that like because you only told me to pick one.
Yeah.
Like,
If we were on a deserted island, what oil would you pray to have in your front pocket?
I don't know. Like I mean, yeah, Valor is a good one, but frankincense has so many different uses.
Because I'm over here going, are we talking about blends or singles?
There's so many. It's like, can I make my own and just bring my own little bottle?
Because if it was a single, I would say frankincense.
Yes, because frankincense, we've always had this saying, when in doubt, get Frank out.
Oh, I love that.
Because if you don't know how you're feeling, if you don't know what's wrong, if you don't know, get frankincense.
And then I look at it as the old nurse, and I'm like, frankincense pushes oxygen into the cell. So I want oxygen being pushed into my cell. So if somebody was having a heart attack, I'd probably be rubbing frankincense on their chest, waiting for 911. Because no, I'm not going to do their brother. Can you just use essential oils and help me through it? No. I've had people ask me that kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Let's just do a home birth and you help me. No. I'm like, I don't do that kind of stuff.
Right? I don't know. So white angelica. So my favorite oil that right now they don't have is Exodus 2.
I think I have a bottle.
Yeah, because I
So,
go,
yeah, somewhere.
it's
It's
so good.
it's hidden.
Yes, because but you can't get it right now. So I don't know if something's just really they haven't been able to harvest it. So maybe they're just out of a specific ingredient that goes into it. But so Exodus 2 is basically the holy anointing oil from the Bible. And it smells amazing. But I have terrible social anxiety. Like I go into a place and I'm just like, "Ugh."
She has social anxiety. I don't. Okay, I believe her.
Keep believing. Well, so I would always put Exodus 2, I would put it on my chest because, first of all, I really liked the way it smelled, but I liked the way that it made me feel. And then I could conquer the situation that I was going into. So, the reason why I think that I liked it so much, what it smelled like, is cassia. Cassia is one of the oils in
Hmm.
Exodus 2, and it smells like a really heavy honey cinnamon. Like that's the only way that I can describe it. It's just a really, and it smells so good. But cassia, which if I come back whenever you want to do oils of the Bible, we'll go really into this. But cassia will get into your blood. Like I put it, like it's one of those that you've got to be really prepared for this because cassia is hot. It's hot. It's hotter than oregano. But I put a drop on my thumb and I press it to the roof of my mouth, and you can actually feel it going into. You can feel it.
In your sinuses.
You can feel it going everywhere.
I'm gonna do that.
It's so intense. It's awesome. But if you are new to oils, maybe make that a like an advanced thing.
Okay, so I've been playing with. So I've got a Cassia
Yes.
experience. Many years ago, well, back pre-COVID, we had a little show that was called the Breakfast Show, and we would go to different restaurants and things, and then COVID kind of kicked in, and we started being here.
Yeah.
And so one day we ate something really horrible for breakfast. Tasted really great, but my stomach didn't like it. And we're getting ready to go on, and I have horrible, horrible, horrible stomach ache. I think I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, pull the cassia oil, and I lean back, and I put some in my belly button, and I sit there for a minute. I had to sit for an entire hour with my belly button burning.
Nope.
My navel was burning, and I just like the hardest hour I have ever, ever, ever done. Would I do it again? Yes. Why? Because it did exactly what I needed it to do
Yes.
that day. So I'm like, I would do it again.
Yeah.
But it hurts.
It does.
It's
Yeah.
very hot,
It does.
and yes, it hurts.
Now, whenever you are doing something like that, if you're going to put it in your belly button and it does burn, it's not it's not like you're putting a match to or a lighter to your skin, and it's not that kind of a burn. It's just like a weird kind of burn. You can
Warming sensation.
yeah, yeah. But you can always put a carrier oil, and it doesn't even matter. I've used like vegetable oil that I cook with.
Wesson.
Yeah, does not matter. You can do that. Yeah, Vaseline, Aquaphor, whatever you want, you can put it on that. It's not going to take away what the oil is doing. It's just going to help with the burning sensation that's happening. So olive oil, grapeseed oil, almond, it doesn't matter.
I'm over here. I must be morticating because I'm like, I just put it on neat. It's okay.
Well, so do I, but I'm telling them for them.
Yes. Yeah. If you're new to oils or you're
Yes.
you're sensitive or you don't like a little bit of that pain,
Yes.
you probably want to, use that carrier oil.
Yeah. Carrot
Um,
oil's great.
I will say though, if I'm using the oregano oil like on my face or to get rid of a mole or whatever, I find it's more effective without a carrier oil.
100%.
You know, and yeah, it is warm for a couple of minutes and then it goes away.
Now listen, I love to take baths with this. Like I will get some Epsom salt or some magnesium flakes or both, baking soda, whatever. Like, taking a nice detox bath. But I will put, like, I have a shelf in my bathroom and I will just grab just random oils and I'll put them in there. I have taken a bath with oregano oil because oregano is very, very good for your immune system, which I'll talk about my other thing for oregano in just a minute. But whenever you take a hot bath, your pores are going to be open. Okay. So whenever you're taking a bath with oils or even putting oils on after you've taken a hot bath or a hot shower, your pores are open. So the oils that you put on or have taken a bath with are getting into your system a lot faster. So you will have red spots. You're going to have red spots. It's going to really sting for a little while. So just beware if you put them in your bath or whatever, if you put them on after your shower, you're going to have red because it'll get into your system real fast.
Okay, because I'm over here and I'm thinking about the mucosa in particular areas of our body. Ow, what do you do for that? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, she's a tough girl.
Tough girl.
So I'm over here thinking,
No, that it's. I don't know if it's just it's protected or what, but it doesn't like it for me. It's always my back. My back is what
so
hurts.
depending on the because I was just
Yeah,
sitting there thinking, well, the mucosal, like the buckle of the mouth or in the genitalia, the skin is different.
yeah. So it might just be
I think
how God designed us, and we're protected in certain areas.
because I'm sitting there thinking, because the mucosa usually has a lot of blood fill to it, so I'm like, it's really being absorbed quickly into the bloodstream.
It never burns me.
Because I know
It's always my back.
your back.
My back, my legs, the back of my knees. Terrible.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
Back of my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since your knees are always bent. So then they don't get the air.
So it's just like being in between the girls. Yeah.
So then you gotta like spread your leg. You gotta put your legs out straight so they can air.
Yeah. I love
Or,
oregano. I'm just like, we love oregano oil in our house, and our house probably smells like it.
right? Well,
We use it all the time.
I have had so many people like walk by me and be like, "Ah, I smell spaghetti because I smell like oregano. But because oregano is such an amazing it's an amazing oil in general, but it's
Mhm.
really, really good for your immune system. So when my aunt was going through chemo, I would always put it on like the small of my back, so where your lumbar, because that's where everything like it all connects right there at your spine. So that's where your oils, like that's where I say, like if you're really wanting your immune system to be boosted, you put it on the small of your back because it's going to get in there and that's good. Like, because that's where they do the spinal taps, right?
Yep.
Like right in there. So put it there and it's going to be your best option for getting into your system the quickest and the best. So with me, I would have it, I grabbed my oil and I did this. I put my hand on the top of the open bottle and I flipped it up and then I wiped it on the small of my back. But then I would wipe the excess because again, I don't like to waste oil. I would just wipe it to the left because this was my left hand. I just wiped it that way.
Okay.
Okay. So with my weird story with oregano is because it was so good and because my aunt was going through chemo, I wanted to be the wellest I could be.
Mhm.
So I used that constantly, but I would always wipe it to the left. And one day, and I think it was around Valentine's Day, and I came home from the hospital and because we were going to a chemo appointment,
Mhm.
and then I came home and I was telling my mom, I was like, there's something wrong with my back. Like I don't know, but there's but I couldn't see anything because you can't
Trying
turn
to look
you
back
can't
there,
turn
and
that
you're like,
way.
there's not enough mirror,
So I raised my shirt up and kind of pulled the my pants down just a little bit, and she's like, oh, I don't know what that is, but it don't look good. I was like, oh, that's great. And then she looked at it. She goes, it looks like you have a really big pimple there. And I was like, what? Well, my mom was not a person that liked to. She was not a popper. Like, Dr. Pimple Popper was not her person, but my dad was. So I was like, hey, Dad, I can't get this. Can you? So all I did, I kind of leaned over just a little bit, and he did, and so much junk came out of this particular area. So it was like it was a cyst, but I had always had the. It was a blue. It was like a blue mole. It was so weird, but that's what it was. It was a blue mole right at the tip top of my pants where they would sit. But that is what after using oregano for so long, it locked it.
brings it up to that. It's like a drawing sound
Yeah.
because I put it like I'll get little knots in my areas where I have piercings in my ear, and I put um oregano oil
Yeah.
on those, and then like the next morning I'll wake up on my pillow and there's like a bloody, you know, then I'm like, oh, that came from my ear.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like oregano oil. I'm over here. I said it would be frankincense,
But it
that
might
one
be
oil, but it might be oregano.
oregano. So many good, but honestly, like I have I have a travel size thing, and I just leave it in my car because like there are certain things I don't want to be without, like ever. Like lavender. I hate lavender. I don't like the smell of it, but I like what it's used for. Like if I get burns or if I'm around cats or because cats, I'm allergic to cats.
Okay,
And lavender is good for allergies.
okay.
Again, I'm not supposed to say that, but here we go. What?
So what do we utilize it for? Because I'm like I'm not a really big lavender fan, as in the way it smells, but I love the lavender plant. But lavender oil to me is different.
Yes, it's so different. And the reason why is because they're all still different. So they're coming from different parts of the plant. Not
Oh,
necessarily like rose oil is from the petals themselves, but not necessarily is everything else going to be from the flowering part.
it can be from.
It can be from the roots or the stem or something.
I did not know that.
I don't know what lavender is still by, but I'm saying
That's very interesting. See, I think those things are really cool. The one thing that I liked about lavender was that if somebody was complaining they were having an allergic reaction to a oil,
yes.
you could put the lavender on and it would
Hmm.
resolve that issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably, I'm like, but do I go run and put lavender in my diffuser? No. Do I go and run and, like when I make soap, am I putting lavender in it? Usually not. Now watch me have lavender soap. You know, because now I'm like, okay, now I gotta do it, but not my favorite.
It's not my favorite. Well, like used to not my favorite. I needed it. But it's also good for anger. I used to be an angry person also. But but it's good for
Okay.
anger. So I would use it like I just used it a lot. And I calmed down a lot.
Okay.
And now
That's
I
why
love
I
the
would
smell
be.
of it.
Okay, so now I'm over here and I'm like, so why wouldn't I? Because I'm like looking at those three over there, and Charlotte says, well, it's good for anger. And I'm like,
Well,
that was probably why I keep getting a hit from on a Zydo for it.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm working on my anger and making positive things happen.
Yes.
You know,
Well, purification also over your liver, like is good for roasting your.
I'm like,
There's so much.
there are so many things that can be done with oils. And, in my house, I'm going to say in my house because it was like I was a nurse. And so I believed in a lot of pharmaceuticals and things to that effect. And I had, like Tylenol, ibuprofen, Aruta, you name it. I had different
Yeah.
stuff. And now I'm like, oh, that hurts. Get the frankincense out. Oh, that hurts. Aroma seeds are wintergreen. You
Oh
know,
my
so it's
gosh.
like I find that, and people go, they're so expensive. And I'm like, dude, you're not using the whole bottle.
Right. Not at all.
In fact, less is more. And people often think that they've got, we were joking about something, and I was like, well, it says 3 drops, but six will be better, and I tell people, if I can smell your oils from down the hall, you probably have too much on. And that frequency doesn't have to do with more oil as in
Right.
volume, but frequency is in the quality of the vibration of it. So, and so, one last cool tidbit do we need to know about oils today?
Oh,
Quirky, weird stuff.
Quirks. I don't know. I think I've figured. So my nephew, he
The oily baby.
yeah, we used to call him the oily Rex being stuff needed because
The oily prince. I love that.
because like whenever he was born, like he was born at home, and I put Valor on that baby. I put frankincense. I anointed him, so he's been an oily since day one. But he cooks with me, he bakes with me, all of the things. Now that boy loves a lemon cake. Like I know that this is not a weird one, but it's so funny to me. So I just open a bottle and I give it to him because you can put lemon in there. He can make the most moist lemon cake. Like it's so good. But because he's putting like 15 drops of lemon oil, lemon essential oil in a cake, and it's amazing. So he gets to make all of his own things.
So I was over here going to say how many drops of oil does he do? So he's doing about 15.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a lemon cake. You can't have too much lemon.
That's true.
You really can't. Like lemon is one of those things, it's not overpowering. It's just gonna be more lemony. So it still tastes great. But so I just let him, and whenever he was learning to count, he was one, one, two, three, four, two, two, three. So he would just put so much in there. It was great. I loved it.
Homeschoolers. Teach those babies to count.
Teach those babies to count. Count the drops because they also have to pay attention. So, but yeah, he's done that. But he will grab Remington will go and he'll go to my big shelf on my wall, and he's just like this one. This is what I want. He got to pick his oils whenever he went to take a nap.
I'm over here. Can we have Valerian cake? No.
I'd be like, absolutely not.
White cake with a Valerian frosting. Well,
Your enemy, but don't invite me over.
yes, Valerian stinks.
It's terrible.
And I haven't tried eating it, so I'm like, yeah.
No, who has? Who would?
I mean, I already thinking about it, and I was like, they make a Valerian tea.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
but it's gotta have something else in it.
I'm like,
Like it can't just be Claritin.
I mean, it just smells like stinky
It
hay.
does. It smells terrible. But
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for coming in today and learning a little bit about oils. This is Charlotte. Are we allowed to use your last name? Charlotte Henderson, and I'm Maris. And she's my oil guru. She's my go-to. So I call her the pharmacist with an F.
with an F.
So peace, love, and harmony. I'm so glad you were here today and shared this time. And thank you so much. Have a beautiful one. Because you're a beautiful person. Yes, you are.